All right, YouTube. This Detroit's HPTV coming to you on this Saturday night with another video. We have to talk about New York State Attorney General, Democrat Letitia James. Letitia James has to be the most Trump deranged person in America. This lady is systemic of what's wrong with the Democratic Party. She's like a dog with a bone, even though she's lost. Her latest tirade and rant is ridiculous. And it's like the people around her are egging her on. It's almost like they're doing the same thing with Jasmine Crockett. They're putting these women out in front of you, these black women out in front of you. They're saying the most deranged, uncouth things you could think of. They're not talking about making things better for their constituents and the people that voted them in. They're not talking about making the community safer. They're not talking about any of the things that their constituents need. And she's in New York with the immigrant crisis and all the type of other things that's going on. And she's still Trump deranged. She was the leading prosecutor when they waged lawfare against Trump. Her and Alan Bragg out of New York. Ironically, Mayor Adams out of New York has already came out and stated that they were under the direct influence of a deep state, the deep state that Trump was talking about, the deep state that he says he wants to drain the swamp from. Their headquarters is New York. And you will see that these Soros agents are very anti American, less known anti Trump. She is obsessed with Trump, and I'm going to show you. And you're going to see the lunacy of her behavior, and you're going to get a glimpse into her mentality. And you can see that she's not of a sound mind. And you wonder, how do these people get into the heights of authority in politics when they're so clearly unhinged? She's obsessed with Trump to the point she's teamed up with Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton has been selling out the black community for over 40 years. He's been a traitor to his community and to the people who support him and look up to him. She wants to rank this ex informant, this ex snitch, this con man, this fake preacher, this apostate reverend to the status of a civil rights leader, just to justify her position with her war against Trump. And you can see that this is a desperate attempt at bravado. And you can also see that Al Sharpton is clearly running his same old grift, his same old race hustle, his same old race bait. But if you pay attention, you'll see that their real agenda is the trans community and immigrants. So without further ado, let me get into this clip and pay close attention to where their priorities are. This is for fair use into the 1976 Copyright Act for educational purposes and commentary. Let's begin.
Again, I apologize. Listen, 57 years after the assassination of Dr. King, and Dr. King talked about that stone of hope. And it's that stone of hope that gives me a fire in my belly each and every morning. It's that stone of hope that allows me to wake up and to stand to Donald Trump and to say, Donald Trump, I'm not afraid of you. It's that stone of hope.
Let me stop before she gets off into her stone of hope. She's definitely virtue signaling. And they come out the same playbook. They always bring up Martin Luther King on the Democratic side. And they ignore the fact that J. Edgar Hoover, under the direction of the Democrats in authority, were the ones who were bugging Martin Luther King and blackmailing Martin Luther King and co opted the civil rights movement and infiltrated the black church. It was the same Democratic Party. It's the same playbook. To put these people out in front as if they represent the masses when they only represent themselves and their paid bosses. Listen to some more.
It's that stone of hope that gives me power. That's that stone of hope and the belief in each and every one of you to let you know that I'm not going to allow my ancestors, all of those who died for me to be in this position, I am not going to disgrace them and disappoint them. I am going to use the law both as a sword and as a shield and challenge Donald Trump. And each and every time he issues an executive.
Now she's admitting to her lawfare. She's going to use the sword of the law. They just did that. And he still won the popular vote in all swing states. It's like the Democratic Party has gotten delusional with the fact that they think they can still control a narrative and manipulate the masses of the people with their rhetoric. Are we going to have to listen to this for the next 4 years? Just asking for a friend.
An illegal executive order, I am going to stand up to him because he represents to me sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. Sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. And so DEI, as far as I am concerned, is more than about just black people. Let's be honest.
That's right.
DEI is about paid parental leave. DEI is about disabled children. DEI includes a number of categories. So when they talk about DEI, let them know that they're not only coming after us, but they're coming after all of us. And we've got to stand together, stand in community, stand with this great organization under the leadership of our civil rights leader, Reverend Al Sharpton, who has been a light.
There is no way under God Green's earth any intelligent black man or woman will stand with Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton has been grifting the black community for over 40 years. Al Sharpton used to accept money for his push organization from Trump. He used to be friends with Trump. He was friends with the Italians until he wore a wire for the feds. There's no way that anybody should trust Al Sharpton after he took $500,000 to tell us Kamala Harris was black and was the right thing for us, even though he knew the truth. Why would we, at this late stage, even listen to Al Sharpton?
A bright and shining light in the darkness, but I don't know about you. It's that stone of hope that inspires me each and every day. And listen, faith and fear can never share the same space. And so I'm covered by the blood, and I'm not afraid of Donald Trump. You can come after me, but no enemy, nothing formed against me will perish. Nothing formed against me. Nothing formed against me. Nothing formed against me.
First time we ever heard these Democrats using scripture. They desperate. They're using scripture. Really? But they're going to tell you how much they support the trans community and how much they support termination of pregnancy. How does those two go together?
All right. I got off their face.
And you thought you could preach, huh?
90% of the meat you buy in grocery stores comes from factory farms. They're inhumane. They're increasing. America is an uncharted territory. We are angry.
Now you can clearly see that she was irate, but let me show you how she got there. These are the loud women running the Democratic Party, talking bold, talking loud, but their communities are impoverished. The people they represent are suffering and starving, and yet they fight for immigrants, and they fight for bureaucracy, and they virtue signal as if they have a moral high road with the American people. Are you still that blind out there that you can go for this hustle, this con, this grab for power? Because she's became a millionaire and is guilty of the same things that she tried to charge Trump with. She's being investigated as we speak. But look at what she ran on.
America is an uncharted territory. We are angrier and more deeply divided than we've ever been at any point in our history since the Civil War.
Now, that's hyperbole. Who's she speaking for? She says we're angrier and more divided than we ever were since the Civil War. These are all triggers. She wants to trigger her base.
And at the eye of the storm is Donald Trump, ripping families apart, threatening women's most basic rights, and running for Attorney General because I will never be afraid to challenge this illegitimate president when our fundamental rights are at stake. From the Muslim ban to efforts to deport immigrants, to denying transgender students the ability to choose whatever bathroom they want, rolling back regulations to protect our planet, colluding with foreign powers.
Wait a minute. Transgender students get to choose whatever bathroom they want. When I remember going to high school and elementary school and college, we couldn't choose whatever bathroom we wanted. No, we had designated restrooms. Why is it so important to them to integrate the restrooms and to transgender children and the so-called woman's autonomy over her body? We know what that is. That's late-term termination of pregnancy. Look what these people are running on and still will quote scripture. Hypocrisy.
Powers, putting profits over people, dividing us in ways we haven't seen in generations. Corruption in Albany, environmental hazards in Buffalo, and a criminal justice system, unfortunately, which has criminalized too many Black and brown people. We can do better than this. We need to reform a criminal justice system. We need to end cash bail. We need more alternatives to incarceration. We don't need trial by ambush, which means we have to reform our discovery laws in the state of New York. We should not criminalize mental illness or poverty. And we also need to reform a grand jury system which is cloaked in secrecy. It's important that we all understand. At one point in the history of this country, they went after several immigrant groups. Now they're going after Muslims. They're going after other individuals. And now we're all in the same boat together. And that's why we've got to stand up. We've got to stand tall. We've got to stand for our freedom and our Constitution and our democracy. At a time when Congress, particularly Republicans, do not have a backbone, it's important that Democrats put some steel in their backbone and fight back. I believe that this president is incompetent. I believe that this president is ill-equipped to serve in the highest office of this land. And I believe that he is an embarrassment to all that we stand for. He should be charged with obstructing justice. I believe that the president of these United States can be indicted for criminal offenses. And we would join with law enforcement and other attorneys general across this nation in removing this president from office. In addition to that, the office of Attorney General will continue to follow the money because we believe that he's engaged in a pattern and practice of money laundering the money from foreign governments here in New York State, and particularly related to his real estate holdings. It's important that everyone understand that the days of Donald Trump are coming to an end. But we can only do it if all of you exercise the most fundamental right, a right which is basic to democracy, and that is the right to vote. The country at war with itself. You may be wondering what you could possibly do to change it. The answer is simple. Everything. And it starts with electing an attorney general who will never back down when Trump or anyone else threatens our rights. So I hope that you will join me and vote Thursday, September 13th, in quiet dignity, in defiance.
Wow, that was doom and gloom. I'm older than her and been living in America, and I haven't witnessed what she says is going on. A country so divided, we're at war with ourselves. And no, you Soros paid liberals who tried to destroy this country with your liberalism are the problem. Your lying and fear mongering and misleading of the people is terrible. It's almost sinister and nefarious to tell so many lies and betray so many trusts for power and influence. Letitia James is the most Trump deranged person in government. In government. So much so they turned on Mayor Eric Adams in New York. I think her hyperbole is only true to the fact that the Democratic Party is at war with itself, with AOC and Bernie Sanders staging a coup as we speak. I just wanted you to see this evening so you can see what's going on and where the animus and hostility is coming from in this country. Who's driving the hostility? Who's creating the chaos? Who's tied to the globalists? Who actually wants a new world order? That's just a question. Well, this is Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit. Like, share, and subscribe. Support the channel. As always, salute to all patriots. Keep y'all head on a swivel. Peace.